Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dead Cells Update 30 is out now. This update reworked the legendary items and introduced new exclusive affixes on every single one of them. Because of that, the power level of all of the different items have changed dramatically, and we want to make a tier list of that. If you see any of these items drop, I highly encourage you to take them for at least a little bit of a test before you decide not to run it again. But other than that, let's go ahead and get started with Abyssal Trident. Gains run speed on critical hit. The run speed does help you get to the next target, so we're gonna give it an A rank. Alchemic Carbine gives double the stack of status effects on every bullet. Unfortunately, it only works on the first bullet's poison application, so we're going to give this one a D rank. Does not work with the rest of the cloud. Assassin's Dagger, 50% bonus damage on critical hit. It is possible to get both the 50% and the 20% at the same time, so we're giving this an A rank. It's just big number. Assault Shield, stun on hit. That means the monster doesn't reset its animation immediately, gives you a little bit of a grace period, so A rank on that. Next up is Balance Blade. Gets run speed on crit. Supposedly it helps you maintain the combo for longer. We'll give it a B rank, because if it does work, then that's actually really cool. Barnacle, our first S tier. Barnacle does a critical hit on poison, so if it does its own poison, it does its own critical hits, and you can roll bonus damage to poison, which is fantastic. Barrel Launcher, B rank. Enemies that die drop fire. Really helpful if you destroy a rat or a bat. Allows you to put fire on every other enemy, but doesn't really do anything for the barrel itself. Bladed Tonfa, C rank for run speed on kill. I'd be highly surprised if this doesn't screw up your gameplay somehow, but hey, if you're trying to make a time door, it's probably not that bad. Blood Sword, A rank for double stack. That means it takes half as many slashes to get the pop on the monster, which turns the Blood Sword into a real boss killer. Bloodthirsty Shield also has double stack, also in the A tier, because not only does it give 2 bleed stacks, but if it has poison or fire on parry, it doubles that too. Blowgun, Poison Cloud on hit. It already does a poison on hit, but at least this helps you kill a bat that's on top of the monster. We'll give this one a B rank. Bone has run speed on crit. We're only going to give this a B rank because the odds of you getting to the next monster while still spinning, probably slim. Boomerang has the tried and true extra ammo on it. It's one additional boomerang, but it's enough to put this into the double S. You will no longer use this as a secondary weapon. This is now your new primary. 2 boomerangs will melt just about any monster in the game. Bow and Endless Quiver, D rank. Poison on hit really doesn't do anything for Bow and Endless Quiver unless you have poison synergy already. Broadsword, Global Shield on kill. Every bat, every rat that you kill gives you a bubble that protects you from monsters slashing you. So every time it protects you from a hit, guaranteed A rank. Cleaver gets double stack, so we're gonna give it an A rank. Cleaver already can't die. It can generate Toxic Cloud around it. So having double the stacks on the bleed is essentially double the DPS before it dies. Cluster Grenade has Echo, which means that every grenade explodes twice. That has to be an S rank. That's better than any cluster grenade you've ever seen before. Cocoon in the B rank, every parry freezes the enemy. All this really does is gives you additional time to set up an attack on the enemy. The Spoiler Weapon, Syringe with run speed on kill. We'll give this a B rank because by the time that you've activated the item, you will get run speed pretty quickly. Corrosive Cloud, double stack, puts this thing in the S tier. Don't forget that Corrosive Cloud does both poison and bleed. Corrosive will probably kill any bio monster that you press the button on, and the amount of damage it pumps out on a boss is ginormous. Corrupted Power, Global Shield on use. That means when you press the button, you get a bubble, but the bubble doesn't really last for that long. Pretty much just the animation itself. So we're gonna put this in the D rank. You shouldn't be pressing Corrupted Power to block a hit. Crowbar is super back damage. That's 75% bonus damage on the rear. We have this in the A rank because it's really easy to roll through an enemy and then just start smacking it on the back. Crusher freezes nearby enemies when destroyed. It's pretty nice on something like Timekeeper or the Scarecrow. We're gonna give it a C rank because it works as normal, just a little bit extra on those bosses. Cudgel has long stun, that is 50% longer duration on the stun. Works really well on things like Conjunctivius and Momatic. So we have this in the B tier. Cursed Sword, true evil, 4 times the damage, but you cannot press any other button while you have this thing equipped. Almost no damage compares to this. We have to put this in the double S, even though it's a cursed sword and you can die for using it. Dagger of Prophet, run speed on crit. Gotta put that in the A tier because any way that I can extend that critical hit after picking up money is guaranteed to be good. Death Orb gets double speed. They also buff the tick rate so that it does more damage because it's moving faster. We'll give this one a B rank. I'm still not a big fan of Death Orb, but this does help it do its job. Double Crossbow Matic gets guaranteed pierce all enemies. You don't have to search for that anymore, and it won't just pierce the one, so pretty good. We're gonna give that one a B rank. Electric Whip, super back damage, that's 75% extra. Helps you kill Hand of the King. We're only going to give it a B rank because chances are you're hitting every monster in the front. Emergency Door, 10% bonus damage while you're near it. The range is fairly far. It doesn't even need to be on your screen for it to work. But of course, as soon as that door gets destroyed, you lose the bonus. So we're still only going to give this one a D rank. Explosive Crossbow's melee hit now has enemies freeze on kill. Very good considering you're lumping enemies together. And sometimes you can roll bonus freeze damage. So we're going to give this one a B rank. Explosive Crossbow's primary attack, the rockets, we have in an S tier because it pierces. Imagine piercing rocket launchers that explode on every hit. Explosive Decoy gives you run speed on kill. Maybe if you want to speed run while invisible, might be good. We're gonna give it a D because it doesn't really help the decoy itself. Face Flask, oil and fire on use. That's on demand burning oil. We're giving it an A tier, as you could have already gotten that on the old Face Flask if you try hard enough, but that's still really good. Ferryman's Lantern, fire on hit. We're gonna give it a B rank. It might help you kill a monster faster, but Ferryman's Lantern's melee is already pretty hard hitting. The Soul Shot on Ferryman's Lantern leaves a trail of flames on shot. Most of the time, Soul Shot's gonna kill everything, so we're gonna give this a D rank. Fire Blast has Global Shield on use. Again, that's the bubble, and it activates as soon as the fire comes out. You can't cheat the system with it, so we're only going to give it a B rank. Fire Grenade, bigger explosion, big enough to cover all platforms in conjunctivitis fight. We're only going to give it a C rank because it doesn't actually catch fire on different platforms in a biome. Firebrand, double stack, that does not count as the flame on the ground, so we're only going to give it a B rank. Flamethrower, however, if the monster is in the fire, is getting double the stacks. So this is actually an A rank. Flashing Fans, bleed on hit. It does indeed cause monsters to bleed on the reflect. Still not super impactful, doesn't help you reflect more often, so we're gonna give this a D rank. Flawless gives you run speed on crit. Remember, this thing has a 4-hit combo, so it might be a little easier to extend that combo, so we're gonna give this a B rank. Flint does fire on hit. Both the melee attack and the flame on the ground does the fire, so we'll give this a B rank. Force Shield, freeze on parry. We're giving this a D rank. Doesn't really help Force Shield do its job. Frantic Sword, heal up to 50% of your HP. It's 1% per attack. We're giving this a B rank. It can keep you alive. It does help the Frantic's gameplay, but of course, being at half health and dead cells is kind of dangerous. Frontline Shield, 300% bonus damage after a parry. It's pretty strong. We've seen this in the past, so we'll give it a B rank. Frost Blast. Enemies hit by this are slowed for longer. I'm giving this a D rank. It's about double the speed, but usually if the enemies break out, I'm just gonna freeze it again. Giant Killer exclusive affix. The last critical hit does double damage. This is A tier. Only really helps you with bosses because you probably killed every elite with the last hit anyway. Giant Whistle has Echo. This means that every giant whistle essentially works twice. Giving this an A tier, really helpful on bosses. Gilded Yumi, Flaming Trail, doesn't really do anything because you're knocking all the monsters away from the fire, and they will hopefully die to the wall anyway, so C rank. Gold Digger, that is the pickaxe. Heavy Stun, Every hit stuns the enemy, but it's not quite enough to avoid all damage. So this one is a C rank. Grapple Hook has on-demand fire. You don't even need to hit a target with the grapple hook. It immediately does fire around you. So that's an A tier. Great Owl of War pierces all enemies that you don't have to roll for it. That's an S tier. That owl can carry you through the game by itself so long as you protect it. Greed Shield. Every 1,000 gold that you have increases the damage of the Greed Shield by 1%. If you play to just have money, that Greed Shield can do ginormous damage on everything in the game. S tier, but don't forget there is a boss cap. Hand Hook. Bleed on hit. D rank because it doesn't really do anything for the hand hook itself unless you pair it with Leg Hugger. Hard Light Gun. Every bullet applies 2 stacks. We're giving this an S rank because it literally cuts the amount of shots you have to do in half. Hard Light Sword, mega crit, extreme damage on every critical hit. A tier once again for big number. Hattori's Katana also in the A tier. 50% bonus damage on crit, allows you to do that fantasy slash on every monster. Hayabusa Boots, that's 75% damage on the back. We're giving this a B rank. Doesn't really change the boots gameplay. Hayabusa Gauntlets, however, get bonus damage on critical hit. We're giving this an A tier because big number, though I kind of wanted it to have the back damage instead so I get the crit sooner. Heavy Crossbow, global shield on reload. Sometimes I do use this to block a hit, so I'm going to give it an A tier, but also it will fire your acrobatic pack. The crossbow itself gets Pierce All. We're giving this a B tier because rare instance you don't kill a monster, it will guarantee kill things behind it. Heavy Turret also gets Pierce All. This is actually really good because Heavy Turret has such a slow attack speed. Now you're stunning all the monsters, so this is a S tier. Hemorrhage has Bleed Propagation. You may be able to crit the next monster after the first one without preloading a bullet, so that's a B tier. Hokuto's Bow has Guaranteed Pierce All. It's good, so that's an A tier, but chances are Hokuto is already doing the bubble on the next monster over. Ice Armor has an exclusive affix where it does not fall off until you get hit or you activate. This fundamentally changes Ice Armor, might change the mutation choices you have, might change your gameplay entirely. So this one is a double S. Ice Bow also has Extended Thaw. Not super great, so this one's in the D rank because I'll just freeze it again if I have to. Ice Crossbow has Victims will freeze nearby enemies. This might allow you to kill every monster with only the second shot because the freeze causes a chain reaction. The primary, however, just has strong ice. Again, I don't care about the extended thaw because I'm going to freeze them again, so that's a C rank. Ice Grenade also does the same thing, but Ice Grenade is on a cooldown, so I can't refreeze it, so that's helpful, so that's a C rank. Ice Shards now freeze the enemies around you on kill. They're already slow because Ice Shards pierces, but Death Freeze allows the enemy to stop its attack completely. Ice Shield, another extended thaw. Hopefully I've already killed the monster while it's frozen, so that's a D tier. Impaler gets bonus damage from the back. Typically, I'm just hitting it from the front, so that's a D rank. Infantry Bow gets Bleed on hit. While it's pretty nice if you have bonus damage to bleeding target, that doesn't really help Infantry Bow very much, so we're going to add D rank to that one. Infantry Grenade gives you on-demand oil. I like to believe that fire builds already have a lot of oil in the kit, but this at least allows you to get Pyro and Fire Blast crits, so we'll give it a D rank. It's not the best option for oil. Iron Staff has Freeze on parry that allows you to do more of the combo than you could before. We're gonna give that an S tier because it does help. Killing Deck, Bleed on hit. Unfortunately, the tick rate doesn't allow you to get 5 bleeding stacks from 5 cards, so we're only going to give this a C rank. Knife Dance causes poison on bleed. That's actually the best version of Knife Dance you can get. S tier. Knockback Shield, when the monster dies, it will actually root enemies around it. If you imagine hitting it into a wall and now everything near the wall got rooted, it's actually kind of cool. So we'll give it a C rank. Lacerating Aura does Bleed on hit. Very rare for a skill to have that, so we're going to give it an A rank, only because it doesn't instantly stack 5 bleed the way you think it would. Leg Hugger does bleed on hit, which means it will actually crit off itself without needing to activate it. We'll give it an A rank because it does fundamentally change the Leg Hugger, even though it may not be a busted item. Lightning Bolt, you get the bubble every time you kill a monster. Still a D rank because it doesn't actually protect you from the self damage. Lightning Rods drop fire when they're destroyed. A little bit of extra boss damage, a little more guaranteed kills on monsters. We'll give it a C rank. Lightspeed has shield on use. We're already getting iframes during the dash, so the shield is probably half effective. D rank. Machete and Pistol causes bleed on hit. If you don't know, the pistol itself causes fire, so you are now doing fire and bleed on bosses. B rank. Magic Bow, double bullets. This did get nerfed, but I'm still giving it a double S because it's extremely impactful, even out of the backpack. Magic Missiles, pierce all. I absolutely hate magic missiles that don't pierce, so I'm gonna give this one an S rank. Magnetic Grenade has Echo. It's not nothing, so we'll give it a C rank, but I wouldn't really call it busted. Marksman Bow has stun on hit. If you're fishing for monsters down a hallway, the monster will no longer chase you down because it's getting stunned. I'm gonna give it an A tier. Maw of the Deep does triple the bullets. Perhaps you won't miss as many throws as the shark is thrown out. So we're going to give it an S tier because that is literally better shark. Meat Skewer as well, bonus damage from the back, A tier because you are always going through the monster. Money Shooter, pierce all, S rank, you are literally saving money by taking the legendary version of Money Shooter. Multi-knock, double bullets, pair this thing with barb tips and you have a guaranteed S rank build. Mushroom Boy does Poison Cloud, and to be fair, it is something, but it doesn't really move the needle that well. So we'll give this one a D rank. Nerves of Steel gets 50% bonus damage on crit. Anything that lets you do one less shot with Nerves of Steel is really good, so that's an S tier. Nutcracker roots enemies around you on kill. It does last long enough for you to crit the next monster. It's an S tier. Oil Grenade drops fire when you kill monsters. Oil Grenade's damage is already decently high, so now you just do burning oil whenever you press the button. So we'll give this one a C rank. Oil Sword, however, has poison on hit. We're gonna give this a D rank. Sure, we like poison on hit, but I don't know why it's on Oil Sword. Oven Axe gets run speed on crit. That allows you to get to the next monster a little bit faster and maintain that combo. So that's an A tier. Nunchaku gets fire on hit. This one's a little weird, but Nunchaku is really good at getting spread oil and bonus damage to burning oil, so I'm going to give that one an A tier. Harry's Shield now gets stun on hit, also works on the bullets that you are deflecting. It may be a little awkward on Timekeeper because it stops her from throwing shurikens, so we're gonna give that one a B rank. Phaser now applies poison on hit. Could pair very nicely with weapons that do bonus to poison, so long as you roll for it, so we're gonna give that one a C rank. Poyo Power causes enemies to turn into biters on kill. Very fun thematically. I'm gonna give it a D rank, it's not nothing. Powerful Grenade has a bigger explosion, doesn't really help you on most bosses, so we're gonna give it a C rank. Punishment kills enemies and then freezes nearby ones. The idea is to freeze enemies right outside the ring, B rank. Pure Nail, another thematically driven affix, biters on kill. We'll give it a D rank because that's probably not helping you very much. Pyrotechnics does double stack. We'll give it a B rank because most of the time you're just killing monsters with the combo rather than watching them burn out. Queen's Rapier has a longer reality slash. It actually looks really cool, though I don't think you really need the help via bigger slashes. B tier. Quick Bow has extra damage on the crit. Once again, kill monsters with less arrows, so that's an A tier. Rampart does freeze on parry. Why? I have no idea because I have a bubble. D tier. Rapier gives you run speed on crit. Might help you get to the next monster, but your crit's usually gone by then. C tier. Repeater Crossbow has shots pierce on the volley. You always want shots pierce on the volley anyway, so this is really only saving you money from rerolls. We'll give it an A tier because that's literally what you want. The crossbow's normal shot has Pierce All, however. We'll give it an A tier, but I really just want to kill everything with the volley. Rhythm and Bozuki gets fire on hit. It does work on the strum too, but I don't really know why they added that. Let me know in the comments what you think the reason was. Root Grenade does Death Root. We're gonna give that a B rank. The root doesn't damage, but I'll gladly take the extra crowd control for my Nutcracker. Sadist Stiletto gets bonus damage from the back. This is not an item that you are attacking monsters from the front, so we're gonna give that an A tier. Scarecrow Sickles, double the bullets, double the pogs. This is one of the most exciting weapon that you can get. Scavenged Bombard has double speed, not double attack speed. The missile speed is faster. We're gonna give this a D rank. I don't know if I've ever seen this miss a monster, so I don't know if you're ever going to notice it. Scythe roots enemies on kill. Very helpful if you have bats up above, or if you kill a monster and leave one just outside of your range. Kind of fun, so we'll give it a B rank. Seismic Strike has Death Root as well, so this allows you to root monsters above you and root monsters on the second attack. Serenade also has another exclusive affix. It literally will not fall off. This will put you in the double S tier because you can now run double Serenade and always have stacks for the crit. Shovel has another exclusive affix. Better secrets, upgrades, croissants turn into baguettes, and small gems turn into topazes. Keep in mind, you do have to equip the weapon to have it work. Shrapnel Axe, bullets leave a flaming trail. Kind of fun, and you can get bonus damage to burning targets, so we'll give it a C rank. Sinew Slicer, bleed propagation. Not as good as poison on bleed, but in a biome, I'll take the extra bleeding to kill bats after I killed a runner. Smoke Bomb grants you run speed on use. This will allow you to crit with Swift Sword on bosses, and if you want to just run while invisible, it lets you run farther. Snake Fangs apply double the poison on hit, much easier time getting to 5 stacks of poison, so we're gonna give this one an A tier for bosses. Sonic Carbine, however, does not have poison on hit, it has Poison Cloud. That's actually worse because it has such a high attack speed. We're going to give this one only a C tier because it could have been better. Spartan Sandals, another callback to another game. You get Fire Feet, which is free fire on the ground. Really cool to see, so we'll give it a C tier. It does work with any synergies you might want. Spiked Boots has run speed on crit. Only helps you get to the next monster, doesn't really help your combo very much. So we'll give this one a C tier. Spiked Shield has 50% bonus damage on crit. Big number, so that's an A tier. Spiked Sword gives you poison when you are hit. Kinda weird, so we'll only give it a C tier. Stun Grenade stuns the monster for longer. Gives you less downtime for when your next stun grenade is active, so we're gonna give this a B tier. Swarm Grenade, every bite of the biter does poison. We're giving this an A tier because on bosses, it actually makes Swarm Grenade a lot better than it used to be. Swift Sword has run speed on kill. The first monster you kill will automatically give you crits on the map. A tier because it doesn't really help you on bosses. Symmetrical Lance is the literal lance from beating Hand the King for the first time. Quadruple damage, ignore shields, very strong, double S rank. Telluric Shock gives you the bubble when you land and kill a monster. Usually the monsters are knocked back anyway, so you're usually safe, but we'll give it a B tier anyway because the bubble is pretty fun. Tentacle gets poison on hit. If you roll a tentacle that has poison damage, that helps the Saitama Dream become alive. Tesla Coil causes burning oil when it's destroyed. You will see this on bosses, but it's not as cool as double the size. Boy Axe, just like the boomerang, 1 extra ammo turns this into a completely different item. It's extremely strong, take it whenever you see it, double S rank. Throwing Knife does bleed propagation. Not very good on bosses, but it does help you in a biome to kill bats. So we'll give this one a B rank. Thunder Shield does poison on parry. Not super great. I actually want to parry as little as possible, but there might be some cool builds out there that utilize this, so that's a D rank. Tombstone, you've seen the videos of it. Clear entire BC doors with 1 combo. Might be one of the best legendaries in the game, so that's a double S. Tonic has extended duration. You keep the blue health and the damage reduction for longer. That's an A rank because that is literally better tonic. Toothpick, when in broken form, will rebuild itself when you kill a monster. So it's kind of fun, but we'll only give it a C rank because it doesn't really help you on anything. Then the toothpick itself in full form stuns enemies for longer. It already kind of does that, so we're gonna give it a D rank. Torch applies double the stacks. On bosses, you will get very high amounts of fire, especially on Conjunctivious, so we'll give this an A tier. Tornado has double the speed, very noticeable on bosses as it goes forward and comes backwards, so we'll give this one a B rank. Twin Dagger has run speed on crit. The crit is the last hit of the combo anyway, so I'm not extending my combo at all. We're gonna give this one a D rank. Valmont Whip with bonus damage to crit, that's an S tier. Vampirism gives you on-demand burning oil. Doesn't really help you do Vampire's job, but hey, it is a little bit of an extra effect on bosses. Vorpan has fire on hit. Just like Nunchaku, you just want to roll burning oil, and it's actually really good. War Javelin shoots a trail of flame, probably helpful. We'll give it a C rank, but it doesn't really move the needle that much. War Spear has run speed on crit. Doesn't really help me do the War Spear's job very much, so I'm gonna give it a D tier. Wave of Denial, on-demand burning oil, that's a double S tier. That's 5 seconds to apply burning oil around you. Wings of the Crow gives you shield on use, which is borderline useless. We're gonna give this a D tier. I don't know when you'll ever see that global shield do anything for you. Wolf Trap does freeze after the trap is destroyed. Extends your crowd control, so pretty cool against something like Timekeeper. Wrecking Ball has a shorter lockout on the combo. If you see this thing in action, it works in very weird ways, but it is extremely strong when it does. I'm gonna give it an S tier, but this one is you gotta try it to believe it. And then finally, Wrenching Whip does bleed on hit. All you want is bonus damage to bleeding target, but doesn't really help Wrenching Whip do Wrenching Whip's job, which is stall. So we'll give this one a D rank. And there you go. Tons and tons of items, tons and tons of affixes, tons of new gameplay that you've never seen before in Dead Cells. If this video helped you in any way, I would appreciate if you leave a like on the video. If you have any questions or any comments of any of the tiers I put, leave a comment in the video. Either way, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next video.